Hi, this is Eric again. I was asked to show how to eye trim the ears. Again, this is the AM helmet right here that I'm building for a charity thing for Children's Hospital. And if you notice on AM's ears, they have kind of a dent here that's already pre-cut out. And some people think these are a little wide, but this is how AM wanted his ears to be, so that's what I like to keep. And if you also notice, they're pre-trimmed, and they're pretty close. They're not right on the money, but they're pretty close. So depending on how you build your helmet, depends on how much you're going to have to trim. One thing I notice on the AM ears is there's a little lip right here on both sides, and I like to sand those off flat down here at the ends, and it helps the ear lay a little bit better. Now, this little indent on the ear, you can see that little indent there, that's supposed to hook right onto this part of the ear. So you put it up against that where it's supposed to be. Hold on, let me try to get in the frame here. And if you notice, the ear's pretty close. It's not too far off. On these helmets here, there's a little arc on the cheek here, and if you notice, the ear's hitting there, and down in this between the cheek and the tube, the earpiece is hitting that. So on this one, that's where I'm going to trim first. And if you look at the back, there's quite a bit of gap. But if I trim the front here first, the back is going to lay down a little bit. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to sand off a little bit in the cheek area here and a little bit down in this crevice, and we'll see how that works out. I usually use that sander I use for the teeth, but I'm in the house and my wife will kill me because I'll get plastic everywhere. So this doesn't do such a bad job. It's just a drill with the sanding wheel in it. So at first I'm going to just kind of round off where that cheek was and see how that works out for me. Now I'll go down a little bit into where the tube stripe comes up, and I kind of round that off. And I'm not doing a whole lot right off the get-go, but I'm going to sand a little bit, and I'm going to fit it. And I'm going to sand a little bit, and then I'm going to fit it. So let's see how that works out. Maybe a little bit left here. So we don't want to do this real fast, so we're just taking our time. So now if you look at the ear, it's pretty close to being right on the money. Once you screw that down, it's going to be really good. Let me look at the back. The back's got a little bit more of a gap, and when we trim down this down here, that will help lay down a little bit. So let me sand those off. Both sides. I like those a little flatter on mine. Okay. Clean it up a little bit. We'll see how this fits now. Again, the front turned out pretty nice. The back still got a little bit of a gap. If you look, right here is hitting on the tube. So I'm going to sand a little bit there. Of course, my battery's about to die. just that little bit has made a huge difference in the back. So I'll just sand off a little bit more down there, and I could sand off a little bit up here, and that'll also help it lay down flat. Our battery's dying very quickly. Should have charged it up. A lot better. It's getting there. So again, I could trim off a little bit more here and a little more back there, and I could get that ear just the way I want it. And as you can see, the front is flat. And I don't worry about the bottom yet, because later I'm going to trim around the edge here and get that the way I like it. So basically that's how I do the ears. It's really quick and easy. Again, I might sand off a little bit more back here, and that'll lessen that gap in here. But as you can see, it's not that tough to do the ears. And like I said, some people like this area to be a little less thick, and you could go around and sand the whole thing off. But when you do that, make sure you do it evenly on the whole edge of your ear, because once you get it the way you want it, if you want that a little thinner, the more you trim off here, this is going to be compensating for what this is. So you need to get rid of this if you want it smaller, and then also get rid of some more of this just so it lays the way you want it to lay. Again, this is the way I do it. Then I'll go and I'll drill my holes and drill the bottom hole, and I'll attach them, and I'll do the same thing on the other side. But his ears come pre-trimmed, which are really close to where they should be. If you don't get rid of that gap in here like it was before, I use that rivet, it closes up that gap a lot. This looks like it's way off, but once you close up that gap, these fit really nice. So that's how I do the ears. Just takes a little bit of time. As you can see, it only took a minute or so for me to do that. And I'll go up and I'll clean this up with some better sandpaper so it's not so rough. But it's very easy to do, and you could do it as well. Enjoy the video, and I'll see you in the next one.